Your host for the day. Before we start, again, just a reminder again for your devices, please keep it on silent. And please don't forget to provide your feedback after the session or via the AWS Events app. Our next session is Build Cloud Foundation for Growth and Resilience, for which I would like to invite on stage Nipun Sharma, our Senior Manager, APJ AMS GTM. Nipun.
Thank you. Hello everyone, a very good evening to all of you. Thank you for braving it through the day. Thank you for being here for this session, the last session of the day. Now, this session is focused on building cloud foundations for scale and resilience. My name is Nipun Sharma. I'm based out of Singapore, been with AWS for nearly 3 years now. I lead the go-to-market for AWS Managed Services, which is a cloud foundational product that enables cloud foundations for scale and resilience. I've also got my colleague Chandra with me. He's a co-presenter. He's been with AWS for 4 years now, based out of Sydney, and he's a specialist solutions architect. So any technical queries, any questions you have, we'd be here to answer those questions. Now, in this session, what we would take you through is what are the AWS best practices for building foundations that enable our customers to scale on cloud, right? And what are the accelerators that AWS has that enable our customers to get these capabilities in a productized manner. Now, before we begin, right, over the last 5+ years, we've worked with a lot of our customers in building modern applications, right? We've helped our customers be on microservices architecture, really leverage Lambda, serverless technologies, modernize our applications for the cloud, right? What we've also observed that over the last 5 years, our customers have started to speak to us on how do we operate this large scale that now exists on public cloud, on AWS. How do we set up operations excellence, right? How do we build a model or an operations model that is fit for AWS, that is scalable, that is highly secure, highly compliant, and how do we assist our customers in this journey? And so we feel that operations excellence is really our next big lesson for our customers, right? We've basically built a set of tools, utilities that help our customers be excellent from an operations perspective, just the way Amazon.com is for its own cloud. Now, operations excellence as a capability is built on strong cloud foundations, right? And from a cloud foundations perspective, having spoken to multiple of our customers globally, looking at our own infrastructure, the way we operate, we've broken this excellence into 6 large cloud foundational pillars. The first pillar is around governance, risk, and compliance, right? Especially relevant for public sector, right? Most of your workloads, most of your processes need to be aligned with the likes of, say, ISO or PCI. Healthcare customers in public sector need to be aligned with HIPAA. NIST, GDPR, PCI. In Singapore, we've got TRM, we've got OSPA, right? In Australia, we've got APRA. Thailand has its own interpretation of data security, right? Our customers ask that not just from a technology perspective, but also from a process perspective, the way we operate on cloud has to be best practices manner, right? So that's the first aspect of building a secure cloud foundation as you set up for scale on cloud, which is to build strong foundations for governance, risk, and compliance. The second core pillar is security, right? Very closely related to governance, risk, and compliance is security. Security is day zero for any sort of a build out on cloud. Our customers ask us that, hey, can we build out an operating process and a technology landscape from a security perspective which delivers an optimized risk posture for operating on cloud? If the cloud foundations are not securely built from a technology as well as a process perspective, scaling out becomes tough, right? So this is this second core pillar that security services need to be thought through and built for cloud foundational success. Once you're already built out in cloud, how do you then operate on cloud? What is the operating process for responding to incidents as they happen? What is the process for optimizing your response times and resolution times to incidents and other requirements as they happen, right? So that's the third large pillar, that the process as well as technology landscape has to be aligned for operations success for your AWS landscape. The fourth large pillar is the core infrastructure built out on AWS itself. That have you set up your landing zone and your foundational infrastructure in a manner that it aligns to best practices, right? Your account structures, are they multi-tiered? Have you set up the right provisioning processes for AWS Cloud, right? Setting all of this is the fourth core pillar. And once all of this is built out, a very important aspect is how you govern your costs from an AWS infrastructure perspective. Now, what we've seen is that some of our customers are paying as high as 60% of their AWS spend from an operations perspective, right? This operations cost needs to be monitored, governed, and optimized over a period of time. It's not a point-in-time activity. So your processes, your technology has to be built for managing your costs on AWS. And lastly, building out the correct foundation from a disaster recovery and a business continuity perspective is the last aspect, right? You've got to create foundations that enable your workloads to still continue should there be a large disaster. How do you back up? Are you aligned to RTO and RPO objectives of your end customers' requirements into your architecture? That's the last core pillar of cloud foundations. And as we break open these cloud foundational pillars, what you would realize is that it gets very complicated, right? There are some 30 odd capabilities and about 70 AWS services that align to these capabilities that really enable our customers to set up secure cloud foundations. Now, our customers come to us and they always speak about the fact that, hey, it's very complicated to do this. I'll take a few examples, right? From a governance perspective, again, setting up the right tagging policies, right? Monitoring and ensuring that these are updated over a period of time is a key capability that our customers need to build out. Sometimes it's difficult to set, even more difficult to maintain, right? From a cloud financial management perspective, right, the ability to get a point-in-time clarity of your costs on AWS. Where is your excess capacity allocated? How do you monitor and manage this excess capacity? Right? This is very important because sprawling out, auto-scaling groups can really cause the cost to sprawl out, right? So it becomes very complicated for our customers to build these right cloud foundations. And what we hear from our customers again and again is that they get challenged when they try to build these cloud foundations by, first of all, finding the right cloud talent to build these cloud foundations, right? Nobody really wants to be working in baseline things like monitoring cloud costs or cloud infrastructure, right? Everybody wants to be working in, artificial intelligence, machine learning, building new applications, right? So the skill to really build these foundations is very hard to get. It's even more hard to retain, right? Because again, everybody wants to be working in the cool areas of cloud. When our customers like yourselves, they start to build these models out, what we've also seen is that sometimes we take the traditional operating model of data centers to cloud, right? So we end up building processes and technology that really aligns to a data center operating model, and we start to build it for cloud. And that's not the correct way to be building it out on cloud. When we start to do that, our customers have cost sprawls because this operating model, which is a data center specific operating model, becomes very expensive to maintain on cloud, and our customers struggle there. Also, the way operating structures on cloud need to be, we can now use technology to really suppress a lot of these incidents, a lot of these issues, a lot of security aspects can be suppressed using codification of a lot of our infrastructure operations, right? And this capability should be available to our customers out of the box. And lastly, our customers like yourselves, they often ask that, hey, AWS, can we play a larger role in security, right? In the shared security accountability model, can we play a deeper role in managing your security risks? Can we move up the value stack and say, take control of managing guard duty, managing compliances, managing Macie for our customers? That's the last requirement that we hear and our customers get challenged on. And that's where we've built a product called AWS Managed Services, which is a cloud foundational product that enables our customers with an accelerated path to all of the cloud foundational capabilities that we just spoke about. Now, I'd spend a little bit of time on this and I'd take you through the product in detail. There are 6 core aspects to AWS Managed Services. And starting from the bottom one on the right side, the journey to AWS Managed Services really starts with deciding what is the right product fit for our customers. Now, within the AWS Managed Services product portfolio, today we have 2 core products. The first product is called as AWS Managed Services Accelerate or AMS Accelerate. Now, a lot of our customers, even if they might be small or they might be large in terms of their AWS estate, would have some sort of infrastructure on AWS, right? It could be native accounts, it could be control tower-based landing zones. AMS Accelerate as a product enables us to take this managed services platform and this product to all of your existing brownfield workloads. We can also use Accelerate to operate your control tower-based environments, right? And we'd cover this in a little bit of detail as we go on. But the first product that we have is called as AMS Accelerate, that provides the ability to ingest your existing workloads, which are brownfield workloads, on AWS into the product. Now, the second product that we have is a little bit of a more detailed product, right? It's called as AMS Advanced, where we also build landing zones out for our customers. Now, think of a landing zone as sort of a foundational establishment for your AWS estate to reside on AWS. It's got a multi-tier account structure. All of the security guardrails are pre-built into the landing zone. And the way we build these landing zones in AMS Advanced is in a highly compliant manner, right? So the start point of your journey to secure cloud foundations is choosing the right product. And sometimes both of these products are used in our customer scenarios, right? The customers could have existing workloads that are ingested using AMS Accelerate and new landing zones built out using AMS Advanced, right? So that's the start point to the journey. Now this is where things get really interesting, which is the second point, right? The operating model inside these both of these environments, right? It could be Accelerate or Advanced, is fueled by an operating model which is extremely automated. This is built on our own artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithms that we've written using our own coding behind. That generates an operating model that's about 95% plus automated across the largest of ITIL processes, which is event management, which is the capability to monitor your estate, incident management, which is to manage incidents when they happen on your AWS estate, and problem management as well as change management are about 97% automated. So this operating model is not really built on people. What we've done is that we've created a product that sits on top of your entire AWS estates and provides the capability to monitor, manage across 24/7, suppress incidents, proactively resolve incidents across a 24/7 time zone, but using automation as its backbone and not really built out on a large number of people. So that's the second aspect, right? It's a self-learning algorithm that powers this code. Now, while we are 95% plus automated, 5% can never be automated, right? For example, you've got a new workload being rolled out. You want advisory services, right? You have some customization requirements from a process perspective, right? You have a custom patching process, right? These sort of requirements need for people-to-people interactions, right? So what we do is that we front-end all of our AWS managed services with two designated roles to every customer. These roles are a cloud service delivery manager, or short for a CSDM, and a cloud architect, right? So all of our customers get dedicated focus from our side with these two resources working day in, day out with our customers. Now, what do these people do, right? The delivery manager, as the name suggests, is very, very operational in nature. All of the SLAs that we deliver through the product, which is to respond to your requirements and to resolve your requirements, right? The SLA accountability falls on the cloud service delivery manager. All of your technology advisory requirements from an operate perspective are delivered through the cloud architect. You've got a new workload being designed on containers. You're using EKS. Should you be using EKS or ECS? All of this advisory comes from the cloud architect, right? So these sort of large operational advisories to optimize your processes, your technology estate, comes from the cloud architect. So while we are 95% automated, the 5% that we cannot automate, which is a people function, is delivered through two key roles who provide a very hands-on delivery experience to all of our customers. Now, the fourth aspect is perhaps the most unique aspect to AWS managed services. Now, what we've done across all of our customer base globally is that we've standardized our operating processes, right? So the capability, for example, to monitor your estate, which is event management, manage incidents as they happen. It could be security incidents, it could be an EC2 going out of storage, or an EBS volume going out of storage. All of this incident management, we've standardized our processes. Similarly, for patching, backup, cost management, right? All of these processes are standardized processes from an AWS perspective. And what you get is these productized processes from day one onwards. So every customer, right? It could be a greenfield customer, or it could be the largest of the public sector sort of utility companies. They start on the same level of process maturity. Now, this is very important because this is a key driver of compliance as well, right? All of the compliances that you need to adhere to come ultimately from a process backbone, right? So this is the fourth aspect. The fifth aspect to AMS is that we realize that not everything from an operations perspective needs to be continuous, right? A lot of our services are point in time. For example, you want to vend out 20 new accounts or hundreds of new EC2s or RDS volumes for a new application or a new capability rollout. That doesn't happen daily, right? For example, there could be Kubernetes patches that need to be deployed to your control plane once in a quarter, right? All of these activities are point-in-time activities. So we've launched a new product called as Operations on Demand that works in conjunction with either AMS Accelerate or AMS Advanced and provides these point-in-time services for our customers as they need it. So it's an as-you-pay-as-you-go model for consuming these point-of-time services. And this catalog of services that we deliver through Operations on Demand is increasing by the months, by the quarters. Today we have 6 key capabilities. We are going to be ramping it up to double digits by the end of the year, most likely. Lastly, the AMS commercial model is a pay-as-you-go model. Just like all AWS services, just like the way you consume your EC2s, all of AMS is month-on-month pricing. All of this is billed to our customers month-on-month. The whole idea is that we get our customers started on this best practices operating model. We would enable our customers' teams to upskill themselves. We would use game days, training, and enablement programs. But whenever you're ready to sort of self-operate, the product is very seamless to disengage from as well, right? So the idea is to enable our customers to scale out on AWS in a secure manner, and we can also just transition out very easily. Lastly, all of this is based on standard AWS tools. There is no third-party tool that we've built AMS on. All of the services that we deliver are backed by standard SLAs to respond and resolve. All of the SLAs are backed by standard service credits. So one feedback that we get from all of our customers who are on AMS is that we optimize your operations risk profile in operating on AWS, right? So team, that in a quick summary is AWS Managed Services, which is a cloud foundational product that enables our customers to really focus in the right areas, which is the data layer and the application layer, and consume the underlying foundational aspects of operating AWS in a productized manner. I'd pause right now and open up for a few initial questions if you have any before moving on. Any questions, folks? Don't feel shy, ask. Go for it. Gentleman over there.
Hey, Nipun. So my query is, what's the percentage of saving that you get from this model as against the traditional AMS model?
That's a very good question. See, savings are basically in 2 areas, right? One is the direct saving that we get from an operating model perspective, right? So typically, most of our customers would get about 274%. So we got a third party called Forrester to benchmark our operating costs against traditional operating models. What we found out was that for every dollar spent on AMS, the cost saved is $2.74, right? So that translates roughly to about 60 to 70% savings on traditional operating models, right? Also, we optimize AWS operating costs itself, right? So one is an upfront cost saving that our customers get from an operating perspective. The other is reduction on AWS infrastructure costs itself. So what we've seen is that most of our customers would get about a 15% reduction in their AWS spend year on year when they operate with AMS, and this comes purely through capacity management, which is releasing excess costs, excess infrastructure, which is provisioned across. So 2 large aspects of cost savings. One is upfront on the operating model, about $2.7 to $1 spent on AMS. And the second part is around AWS cost reduction, which is about 15% ongoing cost reductions. Does that help answer? Yes. Any other question, team? All right, then we'll just quickly move on. So we just covered around what the core product is, what are the product options, how does the product deliver these services, right? Now, the whole idea of the product that we have is that our customers are able to really focus in the areas that matter to your business, which is your data, your applications, and the underlying infrastructure services come through AMS itself, right? Now, a few of the important aspects of the services is especially around security, right? So while we manage core foundational products like GuardDuty, Macie, and AWS Config, what we've also done is we've written about 100 security guardrails into the core product itself, right? So apart from all of the CloudWatch alerts and GuardDuty and Macie alerts that we capture, we've written about 100 security guardrails, and the liability of operating all of these alerts that come from these guardrails is something that AWS takes, right? So we operate and we optimize your security operations in an ongoing manner. We've also brought in a key aspect of proactivity into our operations, right? So most of the incident management that we execute is proactive. So about 80% of all of the incident management that we execute is proactive. About 95% of the incident resolution is through automation. So in effect, 95% of all of your incidents get delivered or get resolved through the core artificial intelligence and the machine learning that powers this algorithm. What we've also seen is that over the times, as the product operates on your environments, it becomes more intelligent, right? So the extent of automation actually in some of our customers is around 97% in suppressing and resolving incidents in an automated manner. So this is one core value area where foundations that we set up enable our customers to really become efficient. Also, cost savings is a core aspect of our service, right? So we've written about 20 plus templates for optimizing capacities for our customers, right? RDS capacity, EC2 capacity, scheduling your infrastructure when not being used in non-core time zones is something that we are extremely cost focused on. So while we provide a lot of advisory in optimizing your architecture, what drives these cost savings is very simple, capacity management led cost savings as well, right? So core area of AWS managed services innovation for our customers. And lastly, one very important aspect is around all of the compliance programs that you see right at the bottom, right? So 4 flavors of ISO, PCI DSS, NIST, GDPR, HIPAA, FedRAMP, from Singapore perspective, TRM, OSPAR, all of these compliances are pre-mapped into the operating processes that we've built. So up to the patched operating system layer, everything that we operate is compliant with these programs. Whenever our customers get audited, we would work with your auditors and the delivery manager would provide evidences to help satisfy your auditors around these compliance programs as well. So you would find on our public website multiple references where customers have actually accelerated their path to these operational compliances. So a core aspect of AWS managed services value. Now, we've also built a very deep partner model for our customers, right? Some of you may be representing partner organizations out here, right? So we acknowledge that AWS managed services cannot cover all the services that our customers sometimes ask for, especially around, say, data layer, around the application layer. Sometimes our customers want us to monitor down the application stack, right? So while AWS managed services covers everything up to the patched operating system layer, if our customers want us to go into the data layer or the application layer, we've got a bunch of very capable partners who are impaneled, certified, trained, who've built their own solutions using AMS as the backbone. And these solutions would help our customers get the entire application stack as well as data services as a service. So another innovation that we have executed, and this really enables our customers to get to a full stack managed services should you want to. Now, I'd spend a little bit of time on this, right? So this is a standard, a flywheel of how AMS brings in ongoing automation, ongoing smartness to our operations, right? And this is especially around incident management. So we covered the security guardrails that we have built, right? The guardrails that we monitor and manage for all of your estates, right? Now, in a most likely scenario, whenever an alert is correlated into an event, which then leads to an incident, there would be an automation that would get executed or get triggered to lead to resolution, right? In a 95% scenario today, that would happen that way. But if it does not, then our backbone of engineers would come in, they would get involved, they would help resolve the incident at that period of time. But what's very important is that we take that learning, so the technology would self-learn, that's one part, but we would also take that and execute a root cause analysis. If needed, we would write our own code and our own machine learning algorithms would be tweaked to ensure that, hey, the algorithm becomes smarter over a period of time. And therefore, next time when those incidents happen, there would be automation that would get triggered, right? So the whole idea is for the product to become smarter to operate your estates over a period of time. And that is what is driving enhanced automation for our customers. Now, one other key aspect for all of you to understand is that AMS is basically an augmentation service to your existing operating models, right? The whole idea is that we should enable you to get better, right? We are not out here to replace existing organizations. And as AWS, we've got multiple organizations that provide our customers support. You would have through the day learned about the training and certification organization that provides enablement and learning for our colleagues on the customer side on various AWS tech. We've got professional services that builds out or migrates applications or would help build out landing zones for our customers. We've got enterprise support that provides broad-based advisory, right? You would get advisory across a range or a bunch of AWS services from enterprise support. What AMS does or where AMS fits is hands-on keyboard, right? So basically, the product that we have is a respond and a resolve function that works in conjunction with all of the other AWS organizations to provide our customers a full stack operating model. And a little bit of a complicated view of how your operating structure would look when working with AWS managed services. But what we increasingly see is that our customers, product engineering organizations, and the cloud business office, right, or the cloud product team would continue to be the one which is increasingly aligned with your end businesses. The idea of AMS is that we provide an operating model that gets your cloud architecture functions or cloud security functions to focus in the right areas, right? So the idea is that we enable some of the teams that you see as a part of the cloud product team or the cloud engineering team to focus in application security areas, data security areas, and not have to worry about that, hey, how do I sort of organize by CloudWatch to deliver basic monitoring services, right? So we enable our customers to focus in the right areas that matter to your end customers. Now, one very common question that we get from our customers is that how difficult is it to onboard to the product, right? It sounds like a lot to be doing. But we've basically automated our onboarding process as well, right? So we've brought this process down to a very simple art. There are 3 levels of onboarding. The first one is executing a technical validation where we run a set of scripts on your existing infrastructure. If you're a greenfield customer, then we start off afresh. But all of these scripts that we execute would just find out any security vulnerabilities, any things that would inhibit the product to function in the environment. Once we fix these gaps, if we find any, there are 3 levels of onboarding. One is at an account level. The second one is at a resource level. And then the third aspect is setting up your operating processes, right? So we acknowledge that sometimes we need to tweak the operating processes, right? For example, patching or monitoring would need to be tweaked in line with what our customers want. So we would customize these processes during this phase. And the last thing where we cut off is executing game days. So we would execute multiple game days with our customers, test out the entire operations process, and once the game days are successful, AWS then becomes accountable for running operations. Case in point, Singapore Press Holdings, where we onboarded 6 accounts within 16 days and onboarded another 49 after that in about 6 weeks' time. So we've simplified onboarding for a lot of our customers. Similar for cost optimization, right? I was covering about cost optimization earlier on. We've written about 20 plus cost savings patterns. Now, these are very simple patterns that focus on capacity management as a function. We've got other ones which focus on deeper areas like optimizing auto-scaling groups for our customers. But basically, these simplified operating patterns from a cost management perspective would help our customers save that 15% that we were speaking about earlier from an AWS perspective. Now, while 15% is a benchmark, some of our customers really get deep savings, right? National Australia Bank, which is one of our longer lasting customers, had about 60% savings from an infrastructure perspective, from a management perspective per application over a period of time. Versus a Gartner average of 46%, they were operating at about 16% of their spend from a management perspective. So deep savings as we get a tenure with our customers as well. Lastly, governance is something that we are extremely passionate about. We recognize that operations excellence is not a one-day activity. Operations excellence happens over a period of time. So governance becomes critical when we help our customers on the journey to operations excellence. There are two forms of governance that we execute. The first one is an ongoing or a business as usual governance, which is more focused on, say, daily stand-ups or weekly reviews. But every month, we would come back to our customers and present over an MBR or a monthly business review. During this review, we would present back to you around how many incidents happened in the last month, right? What were the key areas of focus that were critical to your business, right, in this last month? What are the cost savings opportunities that we see? Once you approve them, we would actually execute these should you want us to. So all of these decisions get made during this monthly business review. But we're also very serious about your feedback to us as a product, right? Should you, say, supposing have some feedback around newer capabilities that you want us to develop, our quarterly business reviews and our monthly business reviews and product function requests act as an enabling function where we understand your feedback for the product and build our next generation of services in line with that. So governance is both from a product perspective as well as from your environment perspective. Now, I'd come back to the slide that we'd seen earlier, right? So 30 plus capabilities, about 60 odd AWS services around these capabilities that you needed to build. From a cloud foundations perspective, AMS covers about 70% of what our customers need to scale out on cloud, right? So the whole idea of what we've built from a cloud foundations perspective is really to provide 70% of what you need from a cloud foundational perspective so that you can scale easily, securely, and in an agile manner on AWS. Now, you would notice that some of the larger capabilities are not covered for. So what are we doing about that? There are multiple newer capabilities on our roadmap, and some of the most exciting ones that I'll quickly cover are, we're actually on our way to be launching a product which is focused on application incident resolution as well. So we are moving deeper into the application stack. So application operations as a service is something which is on our roadmap. We already have the capability to monitor your applications. Should you be having runbooks, we would be in the near future also able to execute those runbooks on your behalf to provide application operations as a service in an automated manner as well. The second really cool one and an interesting one for our customers is around change management and provisioning. This used to be focused on a limited set of AWS services. Right now, what we have done is that we have enhanced the scope of this to cover all AWS services. So right from edge services to foundational services like EC2 or CloudWatch or GuardDuty or Macie, you can get us to provision, to make changes to your estate as and when you need. So we've built this capability to provide change management and provisioning for our customers. Most of our customers are on a modernization roadmap as well, right? Everybody is looking to build on containers, right? So we got this demand from the field that, hey, can we build container managed services? So we've already had a partial rollout for EKS managed services. It's going to be rolled out in a full managed services manner as well into the product itself. And similarly, we are also, while we see that, hey, our customers onboard in a period of 3 to 4 weeks today, we are challenging ourselves that, hey, why can't we reduce this to a matter of a few days? So we would be coming out with a product which enables or reduces this time to onboard from 3 to 4 weeks to a matter of days, which is the enhanced discovery and onboarding product line that we are going to be launching. So there are a bunch of other capabilities. This is just some of the main ones. Now, ever since the launch of AMS Accelerate about 24 months ago, we've had a strong increase in the number of our customers. We've got customers across sectors, across public sector, commercial sector. But one thing which is very interesting that we saw is that while AMS was a great use case for enterprises and ISVs, we suddenly found a sweet spot with startups, right? So 3 of the customers that you would find on this slide, for example, Caro is our very own Singapore-based unicorn, right, which is built on AWS managed services. Same for D-Track, which is a startup, CoinHako, which is a startup, right? So we found this sweet spot, especially with fintech startup customers, where a bunch of them started building on AWS managed services. Similarly, for small and medium-sized businesses, we find that increasingly SMBs which are starting or into the maturity phase of their journey with AWS are building on foundations that we provide through cloud through AWS managed services. So, and then some of the legacy customers that we have, the bigger ones, AMP for example, runs its core banking on AWS managed services. So, customers across segments, especially buzzing, is the SMBs and startup segment as well. Singapore Press Holdings is something that we're extremely proud of. Publisher of our national daily, one of the most influential newspapers in the region. I covered earlier, we onboarded Singapore Press Holdings across 66 accounts now. We've already onboarded these accounts, about 1,000 EC2s that we operate for them. And the core use case out there was operations excellence, reducing cost, as well as providing patching automation for them. GE has been one of our existing customers. We work with GE, one of the subsidiaries of GE, which is FieldCore, as well as the core businesses of GE. Again, the customer started off from a place of very low patch compliance, wanted patching automation, got delivered out of the product, and led to great outcomes for our customers. Resolution Life is again a large customer for us, spanning out globally, operations excellence, cost savings from an AWS platform perspective, skill gaps, right? Ability to focus in the right areas of their business is what Resolution Life wanted to work with us on. So multiple customer success stories. You would find them all on our standard AWS managed services website. You would find a lot of content around training and enablement on Skill Builder as well. If you want any other specific assistance from our side, please reach out to Chandra or myself. We are always available to you. The whole idea of AWS managed services as a cloud foundational product, again, is to provide our customers with a baseline where to sort of scale your AWS infrastructure off of. Build on cloud foundations, scale your businesses securely in a compliant manner, in an accelerated manner, is what the whole cloud foundational idea is. On that note, I once again thank you all for joining today. We've got about a couple of minutes to go for any last questions from your side. Any questions, team? Chandra is right here. And if there are any questions, even from a detailed technology perspective, happy to take them, happy to answer. Go for it.
Just a quick question. It's fantastic service. How long time will it take on board any application or at the company level?
Okay. So the answer is that it depends, to be honest, on the customer environment. How big is the estate, right? So different customers have different levels of complexity, but what we find is that as a thumb rule, it takes about 3 to 4 weeks for us to finish foundational onboarding. Sometimes we can reduce it to a couple of weeks. Larger estates like Singapore Press Holdings, which is extremely large, around 1,000 EC2s, 65 plus accounts, would take about 6 weeks. But I would say, as a thumb rule, somewhere between 4 to 6 weeks is the time to onboard. And we are working on optimizing this, reducing this further to probably a few days as we go on.
Yeah, the actual service onboarding takes less than a week. What takes time is the operations configurations, like the patch maintenance Windows configuration, the backup Windows configuration, in line with the application team's requirements. That's where we see a lot of time being spent on the workshops as well as the game days and so on.
All right, team, any further questions? We'd be happy to field them. All right then.
So with that, we have come to the end of the session as well as end of the today's all sessions. Thank you all for joining us here, and please don't forget to provide your feedback. Thank you.